one of the things that the Zohar teaches is that as night falls, there are negative energies that become awakened. And one of the important reasons and maybe it's a good time to talk about, consciously falling asleep. So most of us, I think, when we fall asleep, we just fall asleep. We don't, we're hopefully we're tired and we just fall asleep. But the Zohar says that there's actually a spiritual, it's not that complicated, but a spiritual meditation that one should have before they go to sleep. And the idea is that when we fall asleep, and let me take a step back. Why is sleep important spiritually? During the waking hours, we are in this physical world. Now, the reality is, and this is both spiritual, but also science supports this idea, that we live in a world of illusion. So much of what we see, so much of what becomes important to us is not real. Mm-hmm. It's a lie or lies that have become an unconscious part of us because we live in this physical world. Our ego, what we call it, desire to receive for the self alone, becomes very strong and buys into the lies of this world. I mean, in the simplest level, the fact that we care what other people think about us, that is not truth. That is a lie. But living in this world where all the stimuli and knowledge that comes into our mind tells us, oh, it's important what people think about you. Even if we try to disregard that, we become overwhelmed. So if we understand that the soul in its purest form, our essence in its purest form, is not of this world. As a matter of fact, the illusionary reality of this world is the exact opposite of a spiritual awareness. So in order to make sure that there's a chance to once again latch onto truth, the system is set up in such a way where we must sleep. What happens when we sleep? The soul leaves this reality.
Goes back to the mothership.
And goes back, yes, and goes back to its source, or goes back to truth, to reality. If we did not have to sleep, if we were able to remain awake for a week, for 2 weeks, most of us would be so overwhelmed by the lie of this physical world, we'd lose all touch with our soul, with our essence, with truth, with our spiritual purpose.
Well, really, a person goes mad after 3 days of not sleeping.
Right, and there's a reason, right? So we always view the physical as an effect of the spiritual. So the spiritual reason for sleep is that it gives us a break from the illusionary lies of this world. Mm-hmm.